Hello and welcome. We're the Bitches with Beards, and we love to talk all things culture.
On this podcast, we chat our top 3 cultural moments for the week.
It's the Cultural Three-Way. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Max. We saw you from across the bar.
And we really enjoyed your vibe.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's like a weird bit of a rushed intro there.
Rushed and running about the city like mad chickens with their heads cut off, and it's been a week.
Yeah, I've got like a 7 p.m. theatre show
right
tonight, which I'm double checking now quickly on it. Yeah, 7 p.m. It's a weird start time
because normally it's like 7:30.
Do you know what I hate?
What
is because I love a 1 act, no interval, hour and a half musical. They, let's face it, they're good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Tell Me on a Sunday. I'm thinking 6. Mm-hmm. Love it. I love it when it's 7:30 because it finishes at 9. You can still get a decent meal and a laugh drink afterwards, and then get the train home. This is London I'm thinking of. When they make them 8 p.m, you're like, no, you're killing that extra time.
Yeah, no, it is very much, once I'm done with the show, I can't do anything else.
Yeah, but can you just make it 7:30? So 7 p.m. is nice because I think we'll be able to go and get dinner afterwards. Mm-hmm. Nowhere too fancy, but you know what I mean? It's like that. But no, you can't get a post-theatre supper. That's when you use the term supper. Post-theatre is supper.
Yes, very true.
But no, so then Daniel was very kind and he tried to get the day off today. For multiple reasons.
I tried to get the day off today. I was like going into my boss on Wednesday. I was like, I want to take the day off. But literally, I had a meeting at 8 o'clock with my boss. And by 8 o'clock, I'd already had 2 meetings pop up on the calendar. And one of them was held at 2 o'clock. And I could not miss this meeting because it's for a very important classified project. And I was like, fuck. Couldn't take the day off. And then the first meeting disappeared, but classified meeting stayed. And so I was in the office all day today. And I thought, okay, well, I will run out of the office as soon as this meeting is over. It went long. And then someone grabbed me immediately after that meeting. I was like, we need to talk right now about something. And I'm like, do we? Do we? No, we did not need to talk about anything. But I left the office at 4 o'clock, knowing I had to be at your place at 5.
Well, I was out with Rosie Girl, and she was sniffing everything. Poor little Roro is still... Sniffly. Kennel Cough is serious, y'all.
Yeah, it truly is.
Like, this is like 3... We're going to hit 3 weeks tomorrow because we got her on the Saturday. So she's had it for 3 weeks. She's oozing. She's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, as I was telling you earlier, like, she sounds better, but she's still... You can tell, like, there's a little bit of labored breathing going on.
Well, she was snoring on the floor earlier, and it was like a freaking... Someone was drilling.
Oh,
it was. And she's a snorer. She's such a sweetheart. We might have interest. Someone might be interested. Oh. Yeah. The Hubs' gym friend saw her and was like looking and like, oh, I think I'm in love. So
we'll see. Yes, you are. Maybe you're not.
And we're kind of at this sort of twisted point of, do we want to keep her? Or if the fact that she would never have met this individual, if us fostering her and getting her through, is it kismet?
The thing is, you have put some good karma out in the world either way.
Yes.
You have done a good deed.
But she is so cute.
She is very cute.
Can't wait for you to properly meet her.
I know, because she's sort of been sequestered.
It's sort of like COVID times for Daniel, as he comes over and then he has to go into the office, see her, come back out again, wash his hands.
And then I have to say hello to Dwayne. And then I also have to wash my hands after that. Because I'm like, ugh.
He's looking a bit, he's a little age jump.
Yeah,
we say that, but he's all healthy, but he's starting to look his age again.
Yeah, he is definitely. I can see it. This is gonna sound weird. I can see it from like the stomach up towards the head.
Yeah,
is the weirdest thing.
But he's still lovely.
Yes.
But no. So we're at battling here. Enough about our weeks. Let's move on to the foreplay.
Yes, let's get everyone warmed up for the pod.
So, Daniel, what's foreplay for you this week?
Foreplay for me, I'm going to save something actually for Lucky Pierre, which we're going to have a conversation about. But I started a new book this week. It is called Queer City by Peter Ackroyd. It is from Roman times to the current era. I am currently in Stuart, London, talking about the gays and the lesbians and what they were doing behind closed doors. Very salacious.
I was like, I think I know the Ackroyd. And I was like, no, it's Roger Ackroyd.
I know.
And he did. He did.
He is dead. No, it is Peter Ackroyd. And I might let you borrow this one. It's a good light overview of queer culture in London. Very good.
It's not as big as. Have you seen the DC one?
Yes, it is not as big, but it is as broad as the DC one.
Okay, because the DC one was a tome.
Yeah, it's not tome level at all. Let's see. Where do I want to go next? Okay, I went to an exhibit this week called Dear America at the National Gallery of Art. It is for the America 250. I'm going to say this. It's okay. It's okay. If you want to go see a Warhol of Marilyn Monroe, go see that. I found the rest of it a little bit underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie.
But the other thing is that one, the Warhol, we saw at, like, it's in the modern section. We saw it on a night when we went with Meghan Mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's okay. It's not their best exhibit that they put forward. They also had an exhibit for Mary Cassatt. Great. I do love having lots of process sketches, but it was a lot of process sketches of Cassatt. Yeah. And I was like, you could have gone to the Phillips collection. I know they've got 2 Cassatts that you could have borrowed. Yeah. Didn't do it at all. Anyways, but something that did get me through this week and was really good was the Spotify playlist of I Feel So Free by Madonna. I listened to this so much.
It's a good playlist.
So, listeners, we were having our conversation last week about Madonna, with a brand new album. And then we were just like diving into Madonna conversations afterwards. And then I just kept listening to Madonna the entire weekend. So it was a great, great time for me. So, yeah, how about you? What was culture for you this week?
There was a lot of Madonna, but it's not that. But I think just the conversation last week, it kind of our conversation here started the conversation in general. Uh-huh. So really, like, part of it is, so I would say, like, Mother Mary, the movie, which we'll discuss in a minute, was one of mine. The other one was The Christophers, also starring Michaela Cole. That was a lovely movie about a aging artist and his kind of unscrupulous children. Discover that he's got part 3 of one of his collections waiting to be completed, which he will never do. And they hire a restoration individual. We had a conversation yesterday about trying to remember what the word for that. Yeah, art restorer.
Yes.
Who's had a couple of moments of maybe some fraudulent activity, and they hire her to kind of come in and see if she thinks she can complete these paintings with the intention they discover in inverted commas, quotation marks, after his death. And it's excellent. She's brilliant. She's got quite a powerhouse performance in it. Ian McKellen plays the aging artist beautifully, as you can imagine, and it goes into it, and it looks she kind of goes in as his assistant. That's the kind of the cover they use to go in, and it's very much, and it's strange. It's a 2-hander. The couple, the kids are played by James Corden, who I like, and what's her face from Baby Reindeer. Oh, yeah, and she's great, but you kind of find their motivations a little bit, what's kind of gone on, but really it's as she talks to this artist and finds out about him, and he kind of opens up about his life and his own. The question kind of comes in as she learns why he didn't complete this course. Can she really? Should she complete it? Because that's all the more she learns as to why not. It becomes clearer that it's a lot more than just paint on canvas that she'll be completing, and you'll love it, Daniel. I sat there and go, oh, this is a Daniel movie. It's
the more you've talked about it, the more I'm like, I am definitely wanting to go see this one for sure.
But it's definitely it's still on at Alamo, but I think Mum said it's not out until May in the States, but it might be just in England.
I was going to say, it's supposed to be raining tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. I might go to the Alamo and see it.
But I did like it. Finally, my final bit was, I had so much music this week, but 9 Inch Noise, which is 9 Inch Nails. So I saw them being supported by Boys Noise. Oh. And which was fantastic. And then they did do a set in the middle where they kind of came together. They've just done that as a complete set at Coachella, and they've released it, so it's 9 Inch Noise, and it's the remixes of this music, and it's a good 45 minutes.
It's very nice.
Yeah. So I was sitting there, and it's some stuff it does. Yeah, he kind of goes off a little bit with it, so I was quite impressed. So that was culture for us, but we want to make sure that you're taken care of.
So we asked the question, who's your top, who's your bottom, and who is your lucky Pierre?
So Daniel, who's your top, who's your bottom, and who is your lucky Pierre?
Well, here's the thing. This is an odd week for news and culture in general because you either talk about The Devil Wears Prada or you're not really talking about too much right now. But I'm trying...
By the way, they're talking on that now. How relieved when I finally got the fucking tickets.
Oh, so relieved.
We were waiting for the second screen to open up at the L1.
I literally texted you. I'm like, this is the highlight of my week. Like, it made me so happy, which I think there were other highlights, but like, it was one of the highlights of the week for sure. So we're scraping the bottom of the barrel just a little bit with news this week, listeners, is what I'm forewarning you with. But I think it might have some good conversations. Not so much with this one. So bottom of the week is that one of my boyfriends, comedian Jack Whitehall, has finally tied the knot to longtime girlfriend Roxy Horner. The wedding was featured in Tatler and I believe also in British Vogue as well. There were at least 2 outfit changes, and Jack did have a suit snafu where he was bending over to pick up his daughter and ripped his pants right down the middle. So in true Jack style. But we wish them both the best, but it's bad news for me because, well, it should have been me. Mm-hmm. In my top news of the week, it was rather interesting because it is very much a music-heavy time right now.
Yes, it is. It's a good time for it.
That Netflix has announced that there's going to be a new documentary entitled Kylie.
I know.
Where one Miss Minogue, sister of Danny, is set to appear in a 3-part documentary. It is directed by Michael Hart, which will feature archival material, home interviews, and home movies, to be determined on the date, but I heard it could be later this summer.
Yeah, that'd be a nice time.
Yeah, so listeners, something is coming.
Do you want to hear an amendment to that? Addendum? An addition?
Yeah.
If it's true, she's got a track on a Hugh Madonna album.
Yes, I did see that. Apparently, the track list semi-leaked, or at least it was guest.
The track list, I know that I saw it on the track list, but Kylie's. I mean, I've been a fan of Kylie for years.
Yeah,
she's such an interesting artist because she never quite cracked it in the States. Mm-hmm. Like the Hub saw the Aphrodite tour, which you could not get tickets for love nor money in England, and he saw it like half-empty stadium over here, and people were like it was not good. And then like she's starting to get popularity. I think just because of streaming and access to her music, it's not reliant on radio play. But she's had a very interesting career, in she is adored in England, and she's adored for a lot of Europe, but she's never. I always feel she's never quite got onto the final run of the ladder of secure stardom in a way.
So I think she's a bit like, if you've seen the documentary about ABBA, I think she's one of these that she has cracked all the other markets except for the United States. Yeah. And that's still an accomplishment that you've cracked the rest of the world except for the US.
I think she's got the US gaze now, and I think she's pretty much where that's it. I mean, I think it was All the Lovers. Mm-hmm. It was the Tensions album.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, I will love this documentary.
But I'm going to say this. Those who knew about Kylie before. So, know, it's, I don't know.
And one of them is going to go into the fact that at the time, Kylie was the actress. Kylie was in Neighbours. Danny was meant to be the singer. Right. Now, Danny's got some beats. The thing of Danny and Kylie's, it's always like which ones you kind of listen to and go, oh, that's Danny.
Yeah. But
they both, they're very good friends. They're not like, you think they're going to be like...
They're sisters.
But, you do hear that sometimes there's not. But you hear interviews with them and they are very, very close. If they're ever in the same country, they check diaries to make sure they're in the same country. But I'm curious to know if it will go into the fact that Danny was on the track for the singer and Kylie was meant to act. And if that will be an interesting aspect early in the career. I
mean, I sort of hope we get the locomotion. Start off at the very beginning.
She's karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did karaoke at an event. Someone said, I think we could do a joke single.
I know. It worked. All right.
Daniel, I think this leaves a lucky Pierre.
It does leave a lucky Pierre, and I want to forewarn you that this lucky Pierre is not a ghost story, but it is. So last night, you and I went and we saw Mother Mary.
In an empty cinema.
In a surprisingly empty cinema. There were 2 gays that were next to us, and I think there was one other couple. There might have been another couple, but there was
4 groups, because there was 2 behind us,
right,
and then there was, I think, at least 3 sets of gays,
right. on our row. Everyone else was seeing the Michael Jackson film.
What did you think of it?
So here's the thing. I liked the structure of it because
Yeah.
it was very much like a two-person play.
Yeah.
It had that beat. It had that.
You could see it.
I could see it on the stage as a play, and for some reason, it clicked with me, and I absolutely loved it because I feel like a play experience where it's two people is much more intimate, much more personal. You get more of the relationship aspect because you're having to play off of the other person, and Michaela was brilliant in that.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant.
Now, Michaela started, so Chewing Gum
Mm-hmm.
was a play.
Mm-hmm.
So she started workshop. She started theatrically.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got that. And, she's still Anne. I love Anne.
I love Anne, but I was very much going to be like, anytime Michaela was on the screen, I was just electrified and pulled towards her. I was like, I want to see your reaction, how you're going to do this.
And it's also that her features are so striking. I don't want to discuss looks, but her cheekbones, her eyes, you're just drawn to her face.
It's very cat-like.
It is.
Like the adjective, I kept thinking the entire time, is like, she's like a cat in this role. And it's like, you want to know if she's going to like pounce or swat or what she's going to do because you didn't know.
It's almost
sometimes.
artificial, her face. And it's
Almost.
definitely not.
No, it's her face.
Just her face, but there's something just alien about her.
I think it's, lighting helps,
Yeah.
and they know how to play up her features, and it was stunning. I would argue that it was a ghost story, but it was an unconventional ghost story. I think it was the ghost of expectations. I think it was the ghost of, preconceived ideas. It was the ghost of a muse. It was the ghost of two artists. It was, and it was
It's a ghost of a friendship.
Yes, the ghost of a friendship. It was the ghost of what could have been. It was the ghost of, potential. It was a very interesting ghost that was sort of, the Shakespearean character that I wanted to say is a ghost. Name a Shakespearean ghost. Anyways,
I know the spirits.
Yeah. It was, a very interesting ghost that was overhanging this entire narrative that was going on, and it was electrifying. And it was also very much one of these that there was a point of the play, I'll say it, that was very much Michaela's character, and then there was a point of the play that was very much Anne Hathaway's character.
Yeah.
And they switched, about the midpoint in the film, as to who was taking the lead narrative.
Should say that spoilers, if you don't want to list, just keep...
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry that I keep going, but I'm not going to go into, some of the spoilers, but, there is a point where the narrative and the point of view of the narrative sort of shifts.
Yes, you have the... At what point does creation become control? Mm-hmm. Which I think comes into it. My only vibe is that I feel that I loved it. Mm-hmm. I was definitely...
I'd watch it again.
I would watch it again. I had the soundtrack on today.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anne did an amazing job. And they're down to they obviously based it on Taylor Swift, and I think that the feel with this is that if someone comes in and goes, oh my god, it's just meant to be Taylor Swift. Yeah, the point is you look at it and within one frame, you know who you're meant to have every bit of information about this person downloaded into your brain.
Yes,
because they don't want to deal with her history. We don't want to do a chart release. We don't
or the backstory
do that.
Or anything.
We need to know, and it's down to the hip position and the American tan tights.
Yes, I was going to say it was the bodysuit. It was the thigh-high boots.
Yeah.
It was, the long straight hair.
But they added the halo, which was a unique thing. And I think that, though, for me, is that, as Anna come in, Mother Mary comes in at the start and is very coy. And it's the lack of bullshit. I'm not going to listen to this. But then... It's an interesting one because the more you learn, it's how much is Michaela Colt Sam, isn't it? I think her character. Is she going to give into the story and actually start to feel sympathy? And that's the question. In my opinion, I feel slightly more that I was curious about where the empathy was going to go. You have a whole Agatha Christie seance in the middle of it.
Yes. I mean, you truly do. Let's see if the spirit's going to come to us. It did. And we're forever dealing
but
with
that again, and again, I want to
it.
spoiler at this because I think this is the bit. That bit was truly excellent because there
Yes.
was such. It was how far can you push a séance to the point where, Daniel and I are huge fans of the witch trials and spiritualism. That whole era of spiritualist culture.
Yes.
Is that the theatrics of it and how far can you push it before it stops being believable? And the director, I forget his name, but really went in to a point of it, of taking the seance just below the, okay, definitely something supernatural is happening.
Yes, it was very much, he was playing with the physicality aspect. Like, there was a good tension with the physicality the entire scene, and you kept waiting. It's like, at one point, is this one character going to fall into the fireplace is what I was worried about.
That was a bit, I was wide open.
I was just like, oh my God, is this going to happen? And no, that never happened. But there was that tension that kept following even after that moment of danger, quote unquote, passed.
Yeah.
And then you got swept away, and then another moment of danger happened. And it was like, oh my gosh. So it was very well paced. Something that I would like to go back to is, this is also a very interesting dynamic because if we think about dressmaking, because this is a story about a dress.
Yeah.
No spoilers. It is a story about the
a
dress. You know about it in the first 5 minutes.
She's not happy with the dress that's been made for her, and so she wants to. This person can dress her.
Right.
She doesn't put clothes on her. She dresses her.
Right. And it's very interesting because you have two artistic individuals in this place. You have a singer and you have a dressmaker, and the dressmaker is putting her own narrative onto the singer, but the singer is also creative in her own right.
Yeah.
So it's very much this tension for artistic types. And like, how do you have the balance? Can you have the balance is the question it's asking, which as a semi-artistic person, I was like, oh yes, like this is a great question to be asking. Like, can you actually do this? Can you coexist with someone else in the form of art? Can you? I don't know.
And they can, and it is in what compromise, and that. And it gets to a beautiful conclusion. And I want to say that brilliant. Yeah, and it does do it. In our opinions, it does it well. Someone might get there and go, that makes no sense.
I think it made perfect sense.
But this is the film is it goes by the rules that, sometimes some people are so bonded, it is almost supernatural.
Yes.
If you cannot accept that concept, I don't know if I want to speak for you for this one, but if you cannot accept that concept, you're not going to get it. But we've all been there where everyone's like, me and Daniel have a podcast together,
right.
And at the same time, we have a mutual understanding, and people do, and this is something that I loved about it, and it was this, and it is almost this, and nothing that happens in it is ever like, I don't think it jumps the shark at any point in regards to stuff. You generally believe what they're
saying. It's a twist on the trope of a soulmate, we'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Can you have a soulmate that is a creative partner? What do you do whenever there's a falling out with that soulmate? Essentially is the question it's trying to, it asks and it's trying to answer.
I would definitely say the soundtrack's excellent.
Yes.
I would definitely give it. It's meant to be very Taylor, and apparently it's meant to be like Taylor in a few years. What happens if she's tired herself out slightly?
Yeah, but also, I mean, the backstory is that this is also drawing heavily from Lady Gaga and her original collaborator. So it's interesting because there's layers to this character or set of characters.
Definitely go give it a go, and it's a good one. It doesn't outstay its welcome.
No,
it's a two-hander. It is about the making of a dress. It happens within the space of a very short time. It's not a prolonged period. So get ready just for very intense. But I loved it. I think we.
Yeah, I would say it's a 12-hour period is when the story takes place. But yeah, anyways.
I will shoot forward with mine then.
Okay.
Yes. So first one is marathon runner celebrates too soon and loses race. Feet from the finish line. Did you hear about this one?
No.
So marathon runner for the Delaware Marathon, which I ran last year.
Oh, yeah.
Got to the finish line, stopped to celebrate, and a guy ran past him. Twat.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's why you keep running.
You keep running across the finish line. Also, by that point, usually I'm like, keep running.
Yeah.
1 foot, 2 foot, 1 foot, 2 foot.
Yeah, I mean,
this week I had such bad runs as well.
I don't want to say he deserved to lose, but if you're going to not keep
He did
running,
kind of deserve that.
you sort of deserved it.
Top of the week is that Cher learns she has a teenage granddaughter. So her son, Elijah Blue Altman of the Altman brothers, he has been having some hard times, and he's got a lot of addiction problems.
Yes.
And a lot of demons. Cher's trying to get him sorted out, trying to get him getting some control into his life.
I just say she's trying to get conservatorship out of him.
And for that reason found out he had a teenage daughter. He didn't want anything to do. He visits her like once a year, did not want to be a father. Turns out that the mother is the granddaughter of Julie Andrews, which that's been the headline. Right. I think Cher's very excited. I think Cher's actually probably more excited that she skipped the baby phase and has gone straight. Cher takes me as I like a teenager.
I think she does too, which I don't disagree with her.
And then this is a quick one. I knew that my Lucky Pierre would also be let's share. That's the point of Lucky Pierre.
Yeah.
But the one thing I just wanted to add in quickly was that the Clueless sequel series of Alicia Silverstone is no longer moving forward at Peacock. I think this is kind of sad. The Buffy reboot recently got shelved as well.
Yes.
And then a couple of years back as well, there was a Core Intentions pilot made, and that was again Sarah Michelle Gellar, poor woman. And that she doesn't really have much luck with TV.
She doesn't.
Which is Mars a pity, because I think she's a phenomenal actress. But I think she kind of picks herself up, keeps going, and she knows what she's doing, and she don't give a shit.
She's on to the next project.
I think like there's a heavy nostalgia at the moment. There's a heavy revival aspect of it. Do you think there's anything behind this? Do you think do you think it's a case of these things are being picked up with the sense of, oh, this will make easy money, and then they're just realizing it's harder to do? Or
so here's the thing. The rumor that I heard regarding the Buffy one, at least, was that the executive who was producing it or whatever just didn't like it whatsoever, and it's like, why would we do this, essentially? So I think it's more these are getting canceled. I don't want to say, but in a mean-spirited way of like people just don't understand why there's the cult following behind them in the first place. And I think unless you get a sympathetic champion for the show, like at the executive level, it's not going to go forward. It's
also hard because they did Rise of the Pink Ladies on Paramount. I really loved that. That was a phenomenal show. And then it just did. I think it's such a nostalgia, such a hard thing to hit. Buffy it should be a slam dunk to continue, but I think the other trouble is like because of network versus streaming, it makes a different type of show. You have a harder time. Clueless, I think the trouble with like Core Intentions is that it's a lot more of a complicated storyline.
So it's a complicated storyline, and the thing is, Clueless was also a television series.
Yes, she is the Polaroid of perfection.
Right. So I don't know. I think that someone at that point could point to be like, well, the show wasn't as successful as the film, and so therefore,
I think for me, though, with Clueless is I would have liked to see a show where Cher is her own successful lawyer now and suddenly dealing with a daughter and kind of realising how expensive things are.
Oh my God, I created myself.
But that would be, I think a Core Intentions mini run would have worked, because I think the idea behind it was the only person, like obviously not returning, was Reese. And the idea was that the kids that she's pregnant with at the end comes after the Empire. And the same with Clueless, I think, could do a good mini-series. Buffy, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
But anyway, we should move on quickly to the end. Culture for next week?
Culture for next week. Well, there's going to be a royal visit next week here in DC, so that's going to be eating a lot of my lunch.
I know. Well, I guess I have to clean the toilets for Camilla and get Rosie and Buggle ready.
Yes, you will.
Anyway, Daniel, I've been Max.
And I'm Daniel.
And thank you for being our third.
Cheers.
A big thank you to everyone for tuning in to Daniel Max's Cultural Freeway and for giving us a listen.
Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review, and follow us on the socials.
You can find us under Bearded Bitch Pod or Bitches with Beards. Please remember that only a mother could love our views and opinions, and they reflect us and no one else.
We'll be here next week, unless we're cancelled.